Okay, so it started. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. And how are you?
I'm good too. Little tired nowadays because I'm doing a lot of work, which sometimes I feel like okay, I have to stop. But when I find people like you, then I don't want to stop. I want to keep continuing. So that's happening with me.
Uh, Thanks for making the time.
Mhm. Yeah, trying to basically just get some couple of hours between my time and trying to do this one. So let's
I,
start this session. And I think if you know me, I basically dig very deep, right, into people's. So uh, let's start this conversation. So let's start with your introduction, okay? And the introduction which everybody who's like to know about you.
sure. My name is Chris Zullo. I am a Salesforce Hall of Famer now. No longer active as of about a month ago. Also part of the Salesforce Marketing Champions program. I am based in Greensboro, North Carolina. Been here for a little while now. Originally from Boston. Been in the Salesforce ecosystem for a little over 10 years now, predominantly focused on marketing. At least that's where I prefer to spend majority of my time, though I have worked in a lot of areas within the platform.
Mhm. Okay. Uh, so actually, I'm quite interested, okay, about your starting from your childhood days. Like, how was your childhood? And since you said you are from Boston, okay,
Yep,
so maybe we can discuss a little bit about Boston, and then we can go to US.
sure. So starting back in Boston, I joined a organization by the name of Epsilon. It was, marketing data management. So it was a very data-driven role. I was working with list management for a number of nonprofit organizations. It was an interesting time. I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but as part of my initial role, I had to do, I did SQL back then, uh,
Mhm.
but I would have to commit my SQL on a nightly basis so that
Mhm.
the queries could run and produce the lists overnight off a
Mhm.
mainframe. So I was there as the industry was starting to pivot from mainframe to client server to to cloud-based solutions. So I was kind of there at the as the tide started to turn. So that was an interesting aspect of my first role, and so it was very, like I said, very data driven, but it was always on the marketing side, putting together targeted lists for whatever the campaign may be.
Mhm. Actually, yeah, my one small apology would be I thought like Boston is in Germany. So I was just trying to verify that. Okay. So, uh, because why I was my mind went there, okay? Because when I was going through your blogs and all, there was a lot of London calling blogs there.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
thought you were little inclined towards London.
No, I started in Boston and then I went to London for a few years where I was with a marketing agency that was
Mm,
based in central London. And so, started my family there and have always had a very, um, London will always have a special place in my heart. It is a wonderful, wonderful city, a lot of great friends there. And when London's Calling came around, as soon as I could, I started going over to attend and participate and present when I could. And so I just love to get back there as often as I can. Love going back there and love connecting with old friends and making new ones.
mm. So yeah. So what do you find the culture difference between the people in London and people in Boston?
It's interesting. the English have a stereotype of being fairly high strung, but I think that is maybe a little overstated. And Boston is a high strung city, and so I think comparatively, London and that area is much more laid back. So is a much chiller vibe, in my opinion. I mean, I love Boston. Like I said, Boston's my first home, my first love. But it's much more, just a much more. It's not as high strung. It's more laid back. It's a busy city, but it's not. You don't get lost, in my opinion, in terms of like you don't get lost in your work. There's time for social connections. It's just a very, very just really, really nice environment, at least for me. I mean, that's how I found it. Now, if you go on the tube, that's a different story. Nobody talks to anybody. other than that, once you get off public transit, it's a very, very laid back environment.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to recollect about, because I think I've read about Boston, but I'm trying to now recollect because I'm more focusing towards you. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, normally I don't forget what I read, but this time, yeah. So tell me about your school days. How was your school days?
I mean, going back to like primary school days or like university, college, where you
Yeah.
kind of figure out what you're
Oh,
going to do.
yeah. You can maybe you can talk about your university or school days or any such event where you find it like, okay, this one is interesting. I look into the interesting aspects.
um, yeah, I think with university, I think I changed my focus a few times. Wasn't
Mm,
sure what I was going to do, and so I actually started off in electrical engineering. Um,
mhm,
Realized or came to the understanding that there was going to be a lot of like chemistry and a lot of other sciences. I love science, but some
mm,
of the sciences that were going to be required were like, I don't know about this. I looked at I looked at the coursework for the next 4 years, and I was like, that's for me. So jumped off of that, went undeclared for a little bit, and took 2 years to kind of figure out what my major was going to be. And in that time, um, I started taking some business courses, and I think unofficially I was started to work towards a business oriented degree, and ended up focusing in marketing and management
mm,
information systems, which I was looking at balancing the tech and sort of the people side of business from a very early stage. And I
mm,
liked how the power of the two to influence one another. And so that's where I ended up, really trying to walk on that tight line between the two worlds,
mm,
which has worked out very well given what I do for a living today. I don't think the market was quite there yet, but I just had an interest in like I said, in the technology side, as well as the social aspects of marketing.
mm, yeah. So, you know, uh, normally, yeah, what happens is whenever I ask somebody for a conversation, okay, and when I go through the profile, for some people, I find it very hard to find people, about them. For you, I found a lot of things, okay, and yeah, but before digging there, first, let's start with the Hall of Fame, right? So, uh, this do you said now you sidelined because of Hall of Fame?
So as of last month,
Mhm,
the MVP program has evolved, and MVPs that had been a part of an active member for 5 or more years graduated into Hall of Fame status.
mhm,
And so, as part of that, I no longer, I don't have the annual renewal aspect.
Mhm,
MVP for life.
mhm,
It's a new status and a new world, if you will. Not sure kind of what really will change. I mean, I think, I'm not going to stop doing what I've been doing. As
mhm,
far as, what that means for the opportunities I get to join in on, that the MVPs get
mhm,
to participate in. I'm not sure yet. I've yet to attend a Salesforce event since the new status was bestowed upon us, and
mhm,
so it'll be interesting to see kind of what that actually entails. But thus far, nothing has really changed other than you got a HOF at the end of the MVP, moniker now.
mhm. So even when it comes to Hall of Fame, just that Bollywood people walking on the stage, I I can recollect that. Do that happen? Will that happen?
I mean, it's nice to think it would. I don't expect a stage or anything like that, but if given the opportunity, I think it would be fun to kind of walk across the stage like I'm graduating school again. I think it'd be fun, especially
Mm,
if everyone's there, all the other Hall of Famers. That would be, I think it'd be fun to have a celebration, but I don't know that's we'll see if that happens.
mhm. Yeah, and yeah, since we are discussing MVP, okay. Now I have a lot of questions regarding MVP, but one thing that's striking me, you were MVP from 2013, okay, and
Yep.
the journey started till 2017, okay, and 2018, 19, you have a gap, okay, then from 2020 to 2013, you are MVP.
Yeah, that's probably just a miss on my part in updating. There, I didn't have a break, so officially I was a part of the program from 2013 until just a few weeks
Oh,
ago. So that
oh.
if there's a gap in the profile, that is a user error. I know that's the first time you heard that has ever happened, but that is a user error.
Oh, okay. Uh, so why this got I got interested is why there is a 2 years gap. Okay, because at that same moment you were the vice president in one of the company. Let me see that company. Okay, so you were the vice president at the relation age
Yep.
at that time. So I thought like maybe you were focusing more on this portfolio than focusing on this MVP program.
No, I was able to manage both. I guess I just didn't. I guess I just didn't keep up with the. It would have been easier just to put the one post and just update it for the duration
Ah,
instead of trying to add them every year. So
yeah, maybe yeah. There is a bug in your profile. So
yeah.
because you have been updating all your awards there, and that's why I was saying, okay, you are from there in 2013. So then I said, what happened in this two? That became interesting point for me, but you have clarified it. Okay, so uh, one more interesting fact was, since you are exact target was acquired by Salesforce in the year 2016 or is 2015.
It was. I think it was more. I think it was acquired earlier. I think officially they closed in 2012 financially, but it
Okay.
wasn't. The exact target wasn't. I think, in my opinion, fully assimilated into the
Mm,
marketing cloud until closer to 2015 and 16 because um, when I went to the last connections
mm,
in that was wholly still exact that was still fully exact target. It was in Indianapolis 2014. It was amazing. Actually got to meet a number of folks there that were old school exact target folks. I actually think it was the first time I met Chester. Bullock was there, and a number of other people that had been working with exact target for a long time. But the Salesforce started their own sort of version of the Marketing Cloud, I think 2012, and it really was a very it was a lot lighter of a cloud. It wasn't the platform that it is today, because it was just Radian 6 and Buddy Media and some other acquisitions that they had pulled together even before they merged those two products into Social Studio. And so the Marketing Cloud, as I knew it, as far as the Salesforce started, when I started with Salesforce, all they had was a campaign object, which is really more for its campaign management, its folders, its organization. It had none of the mechanisms for delivering communications. And so when I had opportunity to learn Radian 6, actually, that's really where I started getting into the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, which was before, like I said, before Exact Target and Pardot were properly incorporated into it, and it evolved into the Exact Target Marketing Cloud. And then it was just the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And so it kind of evolved a lot over those 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. I found it like Exact Target was renamed to Salesforce Marketing Cloud in 2014. And it got acquired, like the revenue started from 2012. So it got acquired before 2012. They have maybe the transition period was going there. Okay.
Yep.
So when I was having a conversation with Chester Bullock.
Yep.
Okay. And this confusion for me that started was based on his profile, where he said that he was the first Salesforce Marketing Cloud MVP. And when I did with Greek, okay, at that time Greek was thinking about your name, saying that it might be Chris Zullo, okay, and then at that moment when I published that Greek's conversation, then at that moment he said like it's Chris Julo. Then Adam came there and said, yeah, he confirmed it's Chris Julo. Okay, but when I had with Chester, he said he is quite sure that he is the first MVP from Marketing Cloud.
I think subjectively he is not wrong, but he's coming at it from the perspective of from an Exact Target point of view. He was as far as the Exact Target, maybe the folks that came over that started with Exact Target before they were part of the Salesforce piece, that makes perfect sense. But as far as the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, like the main reason I was brought into the MVP program was for the things I was doing with what was known as the Marketing Cloud at that time. So back in 2013, I had been working with Radian 6 for 2+ years at that point, and so I was doing a lot of I was blogging on that and contributing in the answers community, like anything that came up Radian 6 or Buddy Media and eventually Social Studio. So from that perspective, I was, my understanding was at that time I was the first marketing focused MVP.
Yeah, no, this for me it's very clear that it's you, because he became Salesforce MVP on 2016, what he has said. Okay, and you started from 2013, and 2016 you were also the Salesforce MVP, right? And if there, like let's say in 2016, if you would not have been the MVP, then I could consider, yeah, what Chester is saying, that actually that point of view that I could agree here. But here you are also the 2016 MVP. So both you were the MVP, right? And both from Salesforce Marketing Cloud at that time.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So now I have more questions with MVP. I'll go there. Okay. But before that, your profile says I can, when I was going through your profile, okay, what I see in your statement, that what you say is your 15 years of experience, okay, in the solution in the CRM space, and especially with the data protection and the contact management, which basically I feel one of the important thing that comes into play with right with this marketing, even with the marketing cloud, where this has a very uh, I consider is a hot topic, that data protection, because what happens is in other CRM systems, you have the data model which is pre-configured, which has a proper modeling, right?
Mhm.
So having that data protection in that data model is very you have a very good way to do this, right? But in marketing cloud, there is no such data model as such, right? So when you're saying data protection, I would be interested, like when you say data protection, what do you think in marketing cloud? How these data protections come into play?
Well, I think for the point of view that I take on it is, uh, just looking out for your customers' data. I mean, at the end of the day, you're borrowing that. Like you have their data because they gave it to you. You don't. I mean, you have rights to it based on the relationship that you've established with them, but you don't fully you don't own that as a business or as a nonprofit or whatever your entity is. And so uh, a lot of what goes into that is the education the people who are handling the data. That's a big part. It starts there. It starts and ends with
Mhm.
the human element of, do they understand the and respect the
Mhm.
data itself. And then it's a matter of putting in place processes and protocols for managing that data, whether it's in however you're using it, whether you're using it for marketing, for servicing, for sales, or just enabling your customers to modify and update their data. Do you have the right security in place? Like, are you securing your connections? Are you securing the points of entry where the data can come in and out? And just as much as possible, um, putting the right framework in place, but and again, um, not selling data, right?
Mhm.
Like you don't have, especially with Salesforce, they have their standard is actually a little bit higher than what is legally required, at least in the United States. So we
Mhm.
have can spam, and there's some other state laws that are starting to pop up that are starting to model after GDPR and improve those standards. But overall, Marketing Cloud and Pardot have there's the expectation that consent is explicitly given, and
Mhm.
it's one to one. It doesn't extend to partners. Even if you say, this is on behalf of, you do you agree to communicate with or receive communications from partners and affiliates. It's a bit of a gray area depending on how that's worded, but explicitly spelled out in terms of your use of data. It clearly states that you should have explicit consent from the person that you're connecting with or sending communication to. And it's
Mhm.
right there, especially when you send. If you do like a manual send or whatever, you got to check a box that basically
Mhm.
says, I say I
Mhm.
have this, we
Mhm.
have this permission, we have received this
Mhm.
permission. And if you don't, that technically could be viewed as a breach of contract. I don't think I don't know how tightly it's policed, but it's there. It's there for a reason.
Mhm.
So
Well, no,
you should pay attention to what's on the screen.
no, no, I understand that, but let's say cam for me, can spam, okay, is quite explicit in nature, which explains, okay, it basically talks about the privacy more with the consent, isn't it? And when it comes to GDPR, I find there is a lot of gray area in GDPR, okay, because the data that is to be controlled is given to the data controllers. How it comes, not more towards marketing. So uh, my question, if I have to rephrase, was say, let's say Salesforce has to, you know, do this data protection. Okay. Now, in other clouds like Sales Cloud or Commerce Cloud, you have a proper data model in
Mhm.
place. So when you already have a proper data model framework, you can have that encryption technology and all, you can add all those two into there, right?
Yeah.
But in Marketing Cloud, you are working with data extensions where you don't have a proper data modeling in place, right?
Mhm.
Now, if you have to protect the data, you're going to do the field level encryption in Marketing Cloud. It has a lot of disadvantages.
So, I mean, on that level, I mean, I'll be honest. I have not worked hands on with the encryption functionality within Marketing Cloud. I know it's there. I know it's an option. Where I have focused my time and efforts from a protection perspective is you only put in what you absolutely need into the Marketing Cloud, like never more. If you can't segment off it, if you can't segment or personalize with it, it has no place in Marketing Cloud.
Mhm,
So less is more. Number one.
mhm,
Second, Marketing Cloud to me is the system of engagement.
mhm,
I wrote a clickbaity type of blog a couple of years ago. Said to get rid of the Marketing Cloud. It's dead. Rename it. Call it the
mhm,
Engagement Cloud. Just because it's a system of engagement, and so it's really it's the delivering of the information where it's a consumer of the data from of whatever the system may be, whether it's e-commerce, whether it is POS or the CRM or whatever, wherever your data source is feeding into those communications, you should be modeling to a degree off of the source itself. Marketing Cloud is not the system of record. It is not the source of truth. It is the source of engagement. So it's a source of truth for engagement only, whether it be an email, whether it be mobile or other aspects that it has the ability to act on, but it's more of a action-based tool than um, the data itself. So I kind of look at it as if it's your
mhm,
car, it's the
mhm,
vehicle, the fuel
mhm,
is the data. So make sure your data is right before it ever even gets into Marketing Cloud. As far as the encryption piece, I mean, like I said, I haven't worked hands on with that, so I can't speak to the pros and cons of to a deep level on that. But I certainly try to emphasize proper hygiene and protections for the data wherever possible.
Tell me one thing, Chris. So this one you said this account engagement that you wrote this one, and
Mhm.
the Salesforce have taken it very seriously.
I mean, I wrote it because I thought it was a fun take
Mhm,
on the on the topic. I didn't realize it was going to start this avalanche of rebranding of all of the different products within the Marketing Cloud. Because technically, we do have marketing. It is Marketing Cloud engagement now. I don't think I'm not going to take credit for it, but anecdotally, I can say, well, look, I wrote my blog first, and they
uh,
changed the name after. So
no, no, I'm little worried. Okay, because you gave an analogy with an example of a car
yeah.
driven with the fuel. Okay,
Yep.
hope you will not be driving a Tesla car.
Uh, No, I like the idea and concept of an electric car, but I do not have a Tesla.
Yeah, even if Tesla, till the word Tesla is okay. If then the Elon Musk come into picture, then it will be weird. It will be little wild then, you know.
Yeah.
So the analogy of a car, I don't want to take at the moment.
Well, if you're driving a Tesla, then or any type of EV, then yeah, that analogy is probably now out of date. But at the time, it had not. It's I don't still don't think it's a critical mass, to be honest. But it was a little more relevant at the time.
Okay. So What do you think about Elon Musk?
Personally,
Mhm.
not a fan. Um, I think he's obviously very smart. I do not agree with a lot of the things he says. I'm not a fan of his attitude. I
Mhm.
think, yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of nice things to say. I will say the Tesla, the cars are beautiful, beautiful looking vehicles. I think the truck is
Mhm.
a abomination
Mhm.
upon the road. That Mars
Yeah.
landing looking pickup truck or whatever that thing is. It looks like a tank on wheels, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, obviously very tech savvy, but not a fan of the person.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to analyze this person for some while, and what happens is my way of thinking is I have read about Newton. Okay, I have read about Einstein, and at that moment, just I can imagine when they were present. Okay, and they might have a similar thought process what Elon is thinking. Okay, they also used to think all those crazy stops at that moment. Okay,
Mhm.
and where they failed, one area where Newton failed and Einstein failed was share market. Okay, Newton lost all his money on share market. Okay, Einstein thought that he will crack share market, but he failed there as well. And this guy comes into the picture. Okay, and he basically hyped Dogecoin to a very different extent. Okay, so he might be trying to solve the puzzle of the share market. Not whatever he does in terms of calling as a tech savvy, he's not doing as a tech savvy. He's basically doing on the monetary fund. So people, if they don't, just if they make it parallel, they will understand. So that's my analysis on Elon Musk. Okay.
Thank you.
So coming to you back from Elon Musk. Uh, so there you have also stated, okay, you have stated marketing automation platform, which you call it as MAP, okay, and you say Salesforce powdered Aprimo Unica, okay.
Mhm.
Now, when I saw all these different ESPs, okay, now my question was like, what about Adobe?
What's that? I don't think I've heard. Could you repeat that? I don't think I know that one.
Okay. Adobe is also one of the marketing tool.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, okay. So, Adobe is actually whenever you do a lot of migrations nowadays, okay, a lot of big companies, they are still basically doing their campaigns and all in Adobe system. All the
Okay.
marketing strategies are done in Adobe. Okay. Slowly nowadays they are migrating to Marketing Cloud. And
Okay.
Adobe has a basically the advantage in Adobe is they have a relationship database system.
Okay.
Okay. And what you like, let's say in Marketing Cloud, we have a journey builder, right?
Mhm.
Where we define the different touch points and try to engage with the customer. Okay. And what happens is in Marketing Cloud is we whatever happening uh, is everything is defined in OM in the engine. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, how you are going to render the email, how you are going to do all these things. In Adobe, you have a proper workflow. The email is first rendered and composed in the workflow itself.
Okay.
So the throughput, actually, if you go by the throughput way of style, for me, Adobe has a better throughput. If because they are already building the emails and just pushing to the MTA. Okay.
Okay.
Here in Marketing Cloud, you first have to go and update the subscriber, check the subscriber flow process, and render the email, and then do the MTA. So here, there is one. That's why this area, which I find it very interesting in Adobe.
I'll have to check that one out because I love to see what else is out there, what other companies are doing. But that is
Mhm.
actually one that has escaped me.
Yeah, this is one thing. Yeah, when I have done couple of migration projects where I found a lot of things between these two different marketing tools. So, uh, going back to one more thing interesting about is 5 months ago. Okay, in you have written a post in LinkedIn saying people matters, and you have basically referred to all clouds, right?
Mhm.
So when you say people matters, what do you actually explicitly mean when you say people matters?
Um, it's just given what my role or my career has been in consulting for the last 10 plus years, and so our actual product are the people, and so people matters. In my opinion, if you invest in the people that you have and treat them with respect and compassion, that they will be a better part of the team. They will be a better contributor. And so, um, you know, I don't know about you, but I work to live. I don't live to work. And
Mhm,
so, understanding that people have lives and that, while we have the ability to be on 24/7,
mhm,
um, you know, I think it's important to understand that there are challenges and um, life events that come up, and being understanding and supportive of that, within reason. Obviously, you don't abuse that
mhm.
that trust, but if you build a culture of trust and and compassionate leadership, I think it has a positive impact on the people. And so if you treat your people well, I think more often than not your organization will be successful.
So, so it about the people in the organization. That's what you're talking about, right?
Well, whether they're in my organization or not, right? So I
Mhm,
think, just think about the people within the How to SFMC community.
mhm, mhm,
Nobody's getting paid to do that.
mhm,
There's a group of people that are um, you know trying to connect with
mhm,
others and enable and empower them to be the best version of themselves within the space that we find
mhm,
ourselves in at the same time at the same place. And so I think that is just an extension. I think all the better if your company has a similar approach to
mhm.
giving you the opportunity uh, to be the best version of you. I think is it's important. I mean, I know at the end of the day, business is need to make money, but I think you find the people are feel respected and valued, that they will generally do better overall, and thus the company will also do better.
Hmm. I have a follow-up question for this. Okay,
Sure.
so before going there, I don't know if you have read one of my recent blog where I have said never outshine the master.
I don't think I saw that one.
Okay. Yeah. So they where Gita, even Matthews and all have said you should outshine a master. Okay, but I said you should not. You should not outshine the master. So that has created a lot of people did understood whom I'm talking to master to. Mentor is never master, right?
Okay.
Mentors are always mentors. They are never treated as master. Okay, so when the master is the boss, so people people has to understand that, right? So that differentiation people didn't understood. And when you say never outside the master is like, what I'm just I'll take few seconds there to just to explain, because this has created little of people misunderstanding what I felt. Okay, because though people in the US and other people, they try to say they understand English, but I feel like they didn't understood. So uh, what happens is when I say about a master, okay, a master is a leader where you have a team. Okay, if you, somebody like Matthew was saying that if the master is not good, you can go and switch the company. Okay, so if you have say 100 people below you, should
Mhm.
all the 100 people so switch and go to the other company, right?
Okay.
So that part where I was talking about the same. You said like people matters. When the people matters, right? 1% getting wrong doesn't mean somebody has to keep on hooping, right? So
Yep.
it's you taking an action and giving equal opportunity to everyone. Not everybody can become MVP. Not everyone can become the talented guy in the company, right? But equally the person who is talented can help the other people to become talented, right? Share the skills and all. But if you are in the crowd to basically please the master, then how that going to affect, right? So maybe people didn't understood because yeah, I sometimes have a lot of philosophy into it, though people don't understand. So that okay. So I don't want to clarify. I didn't want it to, but because we are discussing people matters, so I thought let me say this. Okay. So coming back to you was for me. Okay, what I when I go through a profile, so when you are in Epsilon, okay, from there your MVP started for me, okay, because longest period where you started, you stayed in your career path, okay. I see 5 years and 7 months in Epsilon, okay,
Yep.
and when I was going through your recommendation also, okay, those people who have given you more relates towards Epsilon people only. Okay, and I'll read you few of the I'm very choosy picking the recommendation also. Okay, so first one was from Joy. Okay, and Joy said, "Can you have a can-do attitude?" Hmm. So another interesting thing what he says is balance his workload at the same time ensuring the quality of his work output. Now, this is quite interesting. Okay, so when he says balance his workload at the same time ensuring the quality of his work output, what does he mean?
It's not just getting it done and checking a box, it's making sure it's done right.
Hmm.
Um, and just I think trying to be efficient with your effort and your time. Um, it. I think that, I mean, that's really what it comes down to is
Hmm.
just things have to get done. Things may not be perfect. You need to make as much progress as possible and just do the best you possibly can. And if you don't know, ask
Hmm.
questions.
Yeah, and yeah, this part actually relates with what you are saying with the people matters, and when you are explaining, these two both matches for me. Okay, now there is another person, Carrie. Okay, uh, she, I don't know, she doesn't let me not have a gender mismatch. I don't see the profile picture, so I was not able to relate here. But here, what is it? I was always able to depend on Chris. So how the person become dependent on you?
I think it just building trust. When assignments were given, I would tackle the assignments head on, and try and deliver them again. I think as to the best of my ability, as quickly as I could. And if said I was going to get it done, then I'm going to get it done. And just communicate.
I have two more. Okay, two more in your recommendation. Another one is from Becky. Okay, Becky has to say share his knowledge, educate his colleague, okay, clients and peers. So you are always there helping your peers, right? Now
Mhm.
when you're helping your peers, okay, when you're educating everyone with the knowledge, okay, for me like now this balance of workload, this one I'm little getting confused because what happens is if I am to go and help others, okay, I'm devoting more time, right?
Yep, this is
So
true.
when you're devoting more time, how this work balance load is coming into play?
Well, um, there's a benefit to helping others. And so, if I help, one, two, three other people on a task that normally I would do, or that I would, maybe prior to them being a part of it, did by myself. Well, if I can take a minute, take a few moments to help them understand how to do it, well, now our overall capacity has improved. And so,
Mm.
sure, in the moment, I'm diverting my attention to somebody else, but then they know how to do it too. And now we can do more together, and I can get back to what I need to do, whatever my tasks are, and maybe take on something new.
Okay. Because what I feel is, see, when I'm basically helping people, and when I'm helping my colleagues, okay, I become, a lot of people call me too indulgent.
Too
Hmm?
indulgent.
Yeah. What happens is, when I help people, okay, I have a tendency, you know, not giving them the full liberty of learning. I'll say like, show me, okay, where you stop, tell me. So at that moment, some people tell me in the okay. So tell me, there's one more, okay? The last one with if I'm spelling, just correct me if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Is Mikhail or Michael? Michael Jeto.
Oh, Michael. Yep,
Michael.
you got it.
Okay. Yeah. So Michael says Chris is a gifted technologist.
I'm just a nerd. I just like to get into stuff and figure out how it works. I mean, that's how I learned a lot of these tools, is by trying to basically try and break it. How does it work? How doesn't it work? What what does this button do?
So, yeah, I was basically focusing on this gifted, like what is the gift that you have?
I think it's just an appetite to learn,
Mm,
and to share what I have learned with others. So I'm
mm,
I've been the unofficial IT department for my family for the past 30 years. So
okay,
computers or not.
okay. So let me break you down there, okay? More about you. Mm. So in your blog, in your WordPress, okay, you you know what you have said? I strive to be the best husband and the dad I can be, right?
Yep.
So are you the best dad, or you're still striving to be?
Always striving. I'll never be the best, because the goalpost always moves. It can always get better. I can always be better. So
Yeah.
as long as I am just being the best version of me and trying to be the best dad I can, I'm not perfect. I'm not always going to make it. I'm not going to make the right decision every time, but I'm always going to do with the right focus, which is to do what's best for my family, for my children, and for my wife. And so, just trying to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. You know,
Mm,
uh, 1% better each day adds up over the course of a year. Trying to make 10, 15% gains day over day, not sustainable. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So just suck a little less each day is
mm,
an improvement.
yeah. I understand the dad. What about the husband?
I think it's the same. I mean, my kids didn't get to pick me as their dad, but my wife got to pick me as her husband. And so
Mhm,
just trying to validate her decision
mhm,
to marry me by doing right by her, just to be I think just try and be as a compassionate, loving, partner, to be supportive of her and what she needs, and just like just try and be a little bit better each day. We're all selfish
mm,
by nature, everybody. All right,
mm,
you have your likes, you
yeah,
have your dislikes. I
yeah,
same. And love my wife dearly, and just trying to just do what's best for her, and us as a unit, right? So
mm,
basically running a small little organization here. Me and my wife are
mm, mm,
we're co-CEOs here, right?
yeah.
uh
I loved it. I
Well,
loved it. Yeah, I love the explanation that he said. Yeah, your kids basically children do not get the option to choose, but definitely we get the partner to choose, right? So that was a very good, actually, you made me think a lot about it, but that was a very good. I'll take it very inside because you made a very good point because I never thought through that angle till now, and you have enlightened me certainly there. And so, let me ask you another question here. Okay, so what is the best compliment that you have received from your wife?
call me your best friend, call me a good
Hmm.
dad.
Hmm.
I don't think I can top the either of those two.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it reflects in your face actually. I'll tell you. And I study people. That's why I go deep. Okay, and I know what they're saying. So let me now little bit of just take you there. Okay, now I'll go to the Dream Force. This is the Dream Force of 2016.
Okay.
Okay, and you are one of the speaker talking about three C's. Okay,
Yep.
right? Now, I,
Community. I remember community is a big part of it.
mm, now I have jotted few things here. The picture that you have shared, I think in that particular post, okay, the person standing there with a sword and a pant, is that you?
With the I'm gonna have to go to this myself.
Yeah. You are in the, I think, in the blue shirt and a
Yes.
baggy pant, yeah, a formal pant, holding your hands, both your hands together.
Hands together. What was I doing? I
Mm,
mean, I'm
It's,
trying to
I'm more or
figure out
less
what I was
sure.
doing.
Yeah, I'm more or less sure it's you. Just confirmation is if that's you. Is that
Yeah,
you?
I mean, I talk with my hands a lot. I mean, it's a
Mm,
part. It's ingrained in my culture. So yeah, it's probably me. I definitely had a blue
yeah,
shirt on in that session.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's me.
yeah. So in 2016, okay, in these three C's, where it's being said, okay, you're talking about not collecting the followers. One of the point of discussion there is we uh, you know I what I quoted here. Okay, let me quote what I said here. Okay, when I was going through that particular post, uh, Chris is standing with shorts and pants. Okay, not a formal short and pant. You are there. Okay, with a which is baggy. The pant is also baggy. Okay, the short is also baggy. With the hands folded, you have a hands. Both your hands is folded. Is standing there. Okay, and talking about not collecting followers. Okay, now what I was looking at here was in your blog. Okay, you have a picture. Okay, you have a picture with lot of badges. Okay, and uh, in your blog. Okay, now I'll tell you here. I when I was scrolling through your blog, now you have this. And another interesting fact I'll tell you about you is you share a lot of memes. Right, now tell me how this about the follower is not a trend.
The follower is not a trend.
Mhm. Because yeah, in 2016 you are discussing talking about not collecting the followers. In that three C's is one of these the talking about collecting the followers.
Um, I'm trying to remember the specifics around the followers. I mean, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I got it. All right.
Mhm. It's
Um,
you?
yeah,
Did you saw that?
but yes, yeah, I got it pulled up now. So, the point that we were making there, Phoebe and I were making was that the community is about the value. It's not
Mhm,
just accumulating. It's qualifying, not quantifying. So
mhm,
I have 1,000 followers, or I have 1,000,000 followers. Great. How many
mhm,
of them actually are active? How many of them are getting something from that? Like before I got into Salesforce, I had never seen a
mhm,
professional community or like this that
mhm,
was as invested in each other as this one is. I've been, I've worked with a number of other products, as you've seen, and the forums were like ghost towns. Like maybe
mhm,
3 or 4 people were active. They would, posts would go days, weeks between getting an answer. You post something in the on the ask a question in the answers community in Salesforce, there's a good chance you might get an answer within an hour
mhm,
by a peer. Like, and
mhm,
so that was built with that was built the right way by
mhm,
Erica Cool and all those that followed her and those who supported her. They built that community by focusing on what was important to the community. The community it's not about the company, it's about the community. It just goes back to people matters. It's about the
mhm,
people. Like if we all just came for the free food, that's not a community.
mhm.
That's a
True,
perk. That's a
true.
benefit of coming to a user group. Oh, great. I get a meal. That's great. But I'm not there for the food. I can go to the convenience store. I can go to a Tesco's or wherever and I can grab a sandwich anywhere. But I'm coming there to learn, to understand, to connect with other people. And I think, it's really, like I said, it's not about, how many people do I know? How many people do you impact? How many people have you helped today or could you help? And the community is about, it's it's really about each other. Like, you're not going to connect with everybody, ever. But the people that you do impact, like there is a material impact. There's a benefit. Like and it's you get out what you put in. And fortunately it's still thriving community and people are still invested and it's still that's what makes Salesforce special more than the technology, in my opinion.
Tell me one thing, okay, Chris. So from, let's say, I'll take this 2016. Okay, the discussion. This is what is happening here, which
Mhm.
quite makes sense. But okay, 2000 now, 2023. Okay, Chris then and Chris now. What has changed?
um I'm a little bit better than I was then. um
Mhm,
I've learned a few things. I've met
mhm,
some I've met some people. I've learned
mhm,
from a lot more people. Uh, just then to now, I'm healthier. I mean,
mhm,
I'm a little thinner in that picture, but I think overall physically healthier.
mhm.
By I'm investing more in my personal health, and so I think that's probably the biggest change. And I have a beard. I finally was able to
Yeah.
grow a beard. I was never able to really grow one before, so that was kind of a big deal for me.
Yeah. My perspective, I'm not basically judging, but it's just in conversation being candid. Okay, I find you more handsome now than the previous Chris.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. I mean, I look like I'm about 12 in that photo too.
So, and yeah, yeah, I found that phrase was little conservative at that moment. Now, maybe you have become democratic.
Yeah, I was never conservative in the political sense. Just dressing up for the big day. It's like school photos.
Yeah. So, you know, uh, uh, one thing what I was also saying, you are a Star Wars fan and a Harry Potter fan,
Yep.
and today only I didn't basically went through your Twitter, okay, but Twitter was giving me lot of interesting insight. I thought like I should have gone few days earlier there, okay, where you share a lot of memes. What happens with the memes?
It's a picture's worth 1,000 words. It's we only have so many words we can throw in there, and I can talk without saying a single word. And thank you, Joe Stern, for introducing me to the world of memes and gifs and all the other image-based fun. That's probably 50% of my conversations are just in images.
You're saying I can see that you were once a football coach also, right?
Yep.
And you are sharing lot of sports memes and all. Okay,
Yep.
but what I find is it's little political. It's little political when you share memes.
Mine are political. How?
That memes is basically you know what memes actually what memes do is basically you're laughing, you're cracking jokes. Is that true? In sense, though you have an inner meaning to it, but in the surface level, it's basically you're laughing. Yeah, yeah, this is happening. Isn't that so? When you're doing that, it's a political move, isn't it? When
I
if
never
you're
really thought about it like that.
if if you're sharing, let's say, uh, you are you share sports events memes, okay, where you have two different teams playing in the field, okay,
Yep.
and somebody the one whom you favor when it is doing something and you're saying a meme is not a political move.
No, I think it's supporting my team, and lifting up my team.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, sports are fun, and I just like to you know show love for my teams that I enjoy watching.
I agree. Let's support. I agree, but I still am not convinced with the mimi one. So let me ask you this question. Okay,
Okay,
uh, do you support the Democratic or the Republican
neither,
political party?
neither. I don't
Neither.
I don't I don't support parties. I support people. I don't I
You
don't
do.
I don't care. I don't care for either party. They're legalized gangs, in my opinion.
Oh my God. But do you go to cast the vote or not?
I cast a vote. I I,
Then,
I, I cast a vote for the least offensive option on the ballot.
oh my goodness.
They all suck. They all suck. Trust me. Like they all suck. I don't care for any of them.
Okay. Okay.
No
But
offense.
yeah,
Some
yeah.
mean
But
well. Some mean well, but most of them I don't care for.
um, but yeah, they have a very big influence in the world.
They do.
And
Disproportionate.
yeah, but the people from America has to be very clear with the democratic rights of voting right candidate. If they say we don't care, then basically if you don't care, the whole world, some majority of the world will suffer.
Yeah, we are not alone. I mean, I don't like either organization because neither organization represents what they claim to. They're too big. They
Mm,
really should be. They should break down into smaller groups
mm, mm,
and focus, because you have you have your middle, you have your extreme on both sides, even within the party.
mm,
You look at the Democrats and the Republicans in this country as polar opposites, but
mm,
even within their own parties, they have a
mm,
middle, they have a right, they have a left. they don't represent everybody. They're just clinging together because they have more influence and power by banding together. But at the end
Mm,
of the day, they're not what they say they are.
mm.
They might believe it. I don't.
Okay. Okay. You might dumb this question. Okay. Now, but this question is coming inside my head. Okay. Who's better, Biden or Trump?
I don't really have to think about this. I was thinking about how to phrase this. I'll take Biden all day because I'll take compassion, even if he is potentially makes some slip ups. I'd rather work with him than the jerk. I don't
Oh
work
my.
with that.
I like that. Okay. I like that. Anyway, yeah.
I can
Go ahead.
he will, and he's also willing to listen to others. He listens to others. The other guy thinks he is the smartest person in the room.
Mm,
He thinks he's better than everybody.
mm.
I'm all set with that.
Everything has different aspects. Though I agree with this of your analogy, but there are other aspects as well. Okay, if I have
Mhm.
to go dig dive into Biden's son, okay, and if I have to go there, okay, both in respect to China and both respect to Ukraine, then people will have a tougher time there as well, where other person, though he claims to be smart, okay, he openly said it is a Chinese virus, where other person don't dare to say it was a Chinese virus. So you know, you have the different angle to see through it, but I agree to what you're saying there. Okay, so let's go back from the political side to the marketing side. uh, and I want to go to, okay, you you have a blog, okay, where you say how to plan a successful ESP implementation or migration,
Yep.
right?
Tell.
And there you discuss about 80-20 rule. I'll bring politics into it, don't worry.
Okay.
So here when you discuss about 80-20 rule, explain me what is this 80-20 rule.
It's all about planning. 80% of what you want to do or need to do, that's the focus. So when you're looking for add a new tool, platform, whatever, um, there's a couple of ways that I approach it. Um, you know, 80% of these tools do the same thing.
Mhm,
20% is the nuance or the flavor that might be more appealing to one person versus another. Um, and you need to decide where your deal breakers are. That From that perspective, focus on what you actually need to do. And then, the other aspect from an 80-20 perspective is, 80% of your success is based on your planning. Like
mhm,
at the end of the day, unlike, sales and service cloud where you can kind of build the app that you want or build whatever the thing is that you need to do, email's still an email. The tools do what they do. You're not rewriting the application. So I want this to look like that. Okay, well, go buy something else because I can't help you with that. But at
mhm,
the end of the day, 80% of your successes can be based on planning, like just mapping out what you're looking to do. And
mhm,
if you have a really well defined plan, it'll be a lot easier to manage the ad hoc issues or challenges that may come up, or some of the decisions that might otherwise be a bigger issue if
mhm,
everything was kind of left to chance,
mhm,
are much smaller because you have a well-defined plan and process. Here's the things that we need to do, and it's a lot more linear in terms of
mhm,
how do we build out our journeys, how do we build out these emails or these SMS messages, whatever that may be. It's mapping that out and executing on it, and then
mhm,
it's rinse and repeat.
mhm. So, but you also have another point. where you say separate your needs from your wants, but you are including this into your 2080 80-20 rule because you have a separate pointer as well for that.
Well, you kind of have to break it down.
Mm,
Ultimately, like, what do I need to do
mhm,
versus what do I want? Like, if
mm,
everything you're trying to do, if all of what you're doing is aspirational,
mhm,
how are you going you know, it's like trying to, swallow a whale.
mhm,
Like, focus on the things you actually do and
mhm,
need to do. Prioritize. Like, if you don't have an SMS program right now
mhm,
and your priority is all email, that
mhm,
should be your focus. I want to start an SMS program. I need these transactional emails to go out. I need these customer statements to go out. I need these marketing communications to go out to fill the schedules with my reps. Those are
mhm,
needs. SMS is a want. Now,
mhm,
based on your roadmap for building out your tech stack, that the decision to pull that in, you may prioritize it and say, you know what, we're going to bring it in now. But if you're like, I want to add SMS and I want to add advertising, or I
mhm,
want to add this, interactive component within my emails, okay, let's pause on what do we need to do to get this off the ground so that we can
mhm,
transition from ESP-A to ESP-B, get you on your new platform and operational, get you whole, and then what's the first enhancement? What's the next thing? And it's prioritizing, and that's part of separating the needs from the wants, because then all the wants can go in the backlog. You,
mhm,
I'm not saying you don't do them or you shouldn't do them. It's that should not drag down your project plan or your initiatives to the point that you're in analysis paralysis because I want all the things. No, you need these things, and everything else can go into a prioritized backlog.
mhm. I agree. And basically, with your needs and want is basically for me is more that when I can think about it comes from the economics when I used to study in class 10. Okay, where you say the necessity, basically wants, and it was discussing like wants and necessities. Okay, so the necessity in life and what you wants, what your desires are. So that part of which I can understand, but is going towards more toward the economics. It has a lot of cost factors into it, right? Enabling SMS means you have to have your long code, short code, which will take almost 4 to 5 weeks to basically enable it, right? And then
Mhm.
you have a lot of dependency on the telecom system with your keywords and all,
Yep.
right? So just having a wand does not make it suitable for to make it a communication practice, right? And
Right.
you are and it seems like you are more inclined towards email communication because some people what they are nowadays saying is the true basically the ROI is more with the SMS.
Well, it's people are more inclined to
Mm,
respond faster, but they're also less inclined to give that out.
mm,
So that you got to look at it through that lens. Like, if I'm willing to give you my phone number to send me promotional communications, I
mm,
probably really like your organization. Whatever your product or service is, I have a high value in that, and I'm more likely to do something. So by nature, I'm more inclined to interact. But the cost of SMS is still significantly higher. Last I checked. Now again, that could change, and I could be wrong, and maybe looking at outdated data. But email, from a technology perspective, is still a lot lower barrier to entry than SMS. Although, to your point, like I said, if you have their phone number, if they gave you a phone number, they're more likely to actually, engage.
in case, yeah. Uh, Yeah, that's what happens. Now, I told the same thing to Chester. Like, if you come to conversation, see, I tell you, it takes more than hours long. And I make a conversation where this happens because, yeah, I do my homework. So, let me ask you one now, I ask this question to everyone. Okay. This question is regarding giving the favorite list of 5 people.
Favorite list of 5 people. Like just in general within our community type thing.
Uh, yeah, who
Because
inspires you?
I saw Chester's or I saw some of the lists. They seem to be people within our ecosystem. So
Yeah.
I assume we're thinking professional list. Yeah, I think Gilda Hilaire obviously is somebody that I look up to a lot and engage with a lot on social. Carmel James, Ribi de la Paz.
Mhm.
I mean, I'd love to say all my people at Southeast Dreamin. All my co-organizers. I mean, that's kind of like my core group.
You can't tag everyone. You have to explicitly give me. You have already given three, right? You have to give
You need
yeah.
two more. You need two more. I think, man, Yeva Roberts
Mhm.
and um, Stephanie First.
Mhm. Yeah. Maybe if you can share their LinkedIn profile with me after this, that will be helpful for me. Okay.
Sure.
Now let me ask you some interesting thing here. Okay. So you share memes. You are Star Wars fans and you are a Harry Potter fan. Okay.
Yep.
Give me three top characters that you like.
Between the two,
Yeah, any like you can even go to uh, you know,
Marvel.
or
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Thor, Black Panther,
Mhm.
um, Harry Potter, Mandalorian.
Mhm. Okay. In Harry Potter, the main character?
The main character is a big fan. It's also Sirius Black.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Tell me, was Thor doing the right job, or the Black Panther was doing the right job?
The way they did the movie, the last one,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought I thought it was very well done. I think the way they did it was a beautiful tribute to the
Mhm.
man that Chadwick Boseman was, honoring the legacy of the character of T'Challa. I thought it was great. I
Mm.
really liked the imagery of it and how they wove his story into it. It was basically a celebration of life for the fans because I mean he was woven in and out of that whole movie. I don't think they could have done a better job, honestly, with what they did with that. Loved it.
Mm.
My whole family loved it.
Mm. And the- oh, you, what about this Spider-Man?
Spider Man's great. I kind of feel bad for Peter Parker at the end of the last one. I'm not going to give spoilers, but I kind of felt for him, the sacrifice that he made, but I also respect why he made the sacrifice. So I thought it was a great character moment for him. Just
Mm.
that was a big decision that he made.
Mm.
That was really good. I loved how I loved how they brought in some of the other characters from the various versions of the movies. So I overall really enjoyed that.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, when I was watching that, was that one Ant-Man when he was when he get inside,
Yep.
that yeah, we could relate. Oh, okay, all this how they basically plan and execute. That's very interesting. Okay. Uh, Now with the plan and execution, now I'll go to the because I know I'm running out of time. Okay. So now I'm going to the main question here. Okay.
Okay.
It's like you have been see from 2013 to 2000 is 23. Okay. Almost 20 years. Okay. As an MVP. 20 years?
No,
Sorry, 10 years? 10 years,
10 years.
sorry. 10
10
years.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, I know I'm getting old with calculations. So, uh, 10 years as an MVP, right?
Yep.
And actually, this one, which when I asked Gaurav, okay, I didn't got satisfied with his answer, to be very fair, okay, where
Okay.
he said that you should not basically aspire to become an MVP. You just do your work and it will lead to become an MVP if you're doing it, okay, which I didn't agree to.
Okay.
Okay. So now I want to hear from you. If somebody, let's say, a new person who is coming to Salesforce, okay, in practice, and when they see you, okay, when they see Greek, Adam, and everyone, okay, they will definitely have an aspiration. I want to become like them, right? Why that aspirations should be wrong? And
It's not that
and
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no problem, no problem. So and basically, I just want to couple this, add this both the questions in a one go. It's like uh, Salesforce MVP, okay, when somebody is aspiring, okay, what steps the person has to follow? Let's say somebody say, I want to be like Chris, okay, I want to be like him, I want to follow his footstep, I want to become MVP, okay.
Mhm.
So, what is your suggestions to this?
I mean, without sounding rude, I hope I would ask them, why do you want to become one?
Mhm.
But I would say, if they aspire to be an MVP, I think, or to be like an MVP, I think it's are you aspiring to be the title, or are you aspiring to be like the person that you aspire to be like? And so
Okay.
I that's the approach I would take is,
Okay, let
do
me
you like
be blunt. No, I'll interrupt you here. Let me be very blunt here, okay? Because
sure.
for me, see, a person having a title is just a title.
Yep.
Do you think that the persons who are becoming MVP is just for a title?
Some
Is that the
people
practice? Because lot or some people is there, right?
some
So
people,
when
yeah, absolutely. It's some people have done that, yeah.
yeah, and
Just to get the title.
yeah, and if the way the Salesforce MVP that has been here in the hype, okay. So is it wrong somebody just for a title they are trying to be?
Not necessarily, but I think it depends on like, again, I am not here to judge their intentions. But if it's just for if you're just trying to get the box to say you got it, you're not like the point of the MVP program is recognizing individuals who have gone above and beyond to contribute to the community, to help others. The
Mm,
spirit of the MVP is about helping others. If your intent is 100% about you, then yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Now, if they, again, everyone has there's so many different motivations, right? But
mm.
if you enjoy helping others and want to help others, all by all means, then go after that if it's for the title. But if it's just to check that box, like, what's the point? Why go into the effort? Because you're going to drop off after a year anyways, because you're not going to keep it up.
Yeah, no, actually, I have been thinking about this a lot, okay, where I have a lot of disagreements here. You know, when first somebody says there is a very good transparency with the nominations and all those things that happens, okay.
Mhm.
Now, first, second point is say when the Salesforce MVP hasn't, it already describes what a MVP has to be. Generous and lot those characteristics are defined there.
Yep.
Okay. It
Yep.
means if those people, few people are coming into that program, right? Then the transparency has a cloud for me. Okay. And second thing is when a MVP, a person who has been MVP for so many years, okay, and when this question has been asked to somebody saying that if a new person who is very new to the ecosystem, when they basically see you, like you are going to a lot of as a speaker event, right? You are basically going to an event. And a lot of people will definitely be aspiring to be like you people, right? And at the
Mhm.
very onset, when people will say, uh, "What is your basically the motivation of becoming MVP?" Okay, a
Mhm.
new person who basically does not have a clarity, and if you're asking this question, it basically hits a very bad. For me, it's a very bad. Maybe he's learning, he's growing. He'll not become an MVP in a single day. Okay, he'll not become an MVP. Just
Mhm.
he's trying from his just with an ambition. Once he goes into the ecosystem, when they see people like you, Greek, Adam, right, Gaurav, or any other people, then they will see how much they are committed towards the community, right? Maybe if they come inside the community, they will come to understand culture, they will understand all the environment, and maybe they will maybe forget about one two people, but the 90% of the people might be committed to the same cause, right? But when people are say then asking this, why you want to, then for me it's like, I told Gaurav from the see, I asked him and he said, Sashi, you want he said one thing, okay, which I didn't like it openly, okay, where you should not basically discourage other people, because I have been helping a lot of people, okay,
Mhm.
and I'm not with these titles, okay, and I've openly said, because if even if somebody nominates me, it comes to me bucket saying, are you willing to become an one email comes to us, I simply
Yep.
say no, okay, and when I see the juniors, I do not discourage them, you know
Yeah.
I'll say maybe with this encouragement they might contribute, okay, and those people at the who has already been in this process for so many years, they should not discourage other people, maybe
Yeah.
guide them how
Yeah.
to be a good MVP,
That's what you're supposed to do.
right? So hope you what I hope what I'm saying, you agree to what I'm saying, right? Not asking the intentions, obviously it has a lot of merits, I understand, within organization and everything. I have seen even Gaurav is himself has written, becoming an MVP, it has helped in my career path, but
Mhm.
should not be discouraged.
Yeah. No. Nobody should be discouraged about it.
Yeah. So and you have been into 10 years, okay, similar Gaurav is 7 8 years, okay. So and if I have to go to the MVP path also, okay, if I've seen the first blocker comes from the previous MVP only for the selection, isn't it? The first
The
nomination filter that goes to the previous MVP saying that these are the nomination that we have received, and the first filter goes to the previous MVPs, and then it goes to the Salesforce.
I don't not familiar with the filter
Yeah,
on the portal.
yeah. I think I have read this about it. Okay, first it goes to the previous MVPs. Then from there, the nomination they said, okay, these people have been doing good. They have got this number of nominations. These are the things.
Are you talking about
It
the
goes to
process itself, or are you
process,
talking
process.
about you're talking about I thought you were talking about like the website portal.
No, no, process.
Yeah, there's I mean there's two parts to it. There's the renewal portion
Mhm,
for those who are up for renewal or
mhm,
eligible for renewal, and existing the existing MVPs are allowed to provide feedback on that, um and then the open nomination for net new, there's a different time frame because
time frame.
that's standard. So you're not doing it at the same time because they're giving feedback on two different groups, very
Mm,
different groups. There's
so,
there's the peer, the
yeah,
current MVP, feedback, and then there's the net new because the community team works very hard to try and um, consolidate, because a lot of people get more than one nomination, so they I don't know what they do to can bring it down into like one view per person,
Mm,
but and then they ask for feedback on that. But it's not up to just the MVPs. MVPs are asked for their inputs, but the
mm.
Salesforce has the final say on all that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was basically my personal view. I'm not basically, making it a general view, but that was my personal view. Whatever I see there. Okay. So yeah, we are already running out of time. I know. Okay. So I'll ask you the last question,
Sure.
and this is basically the whole conversation. Whatever I try to move this way, that way. Okay. My only idea about having this conversation is to get the advice from the people like you, okay, to the new people who are coming into the community, so that they can have their better career path. They have the clear vision, okay, how to learn and grow.
Okay.
So I want to hear from you.
Oh,
Mhm.
I think coming into this industry or ecosystem, I think can't do it alone. So connect with other people online, in person when you can. I think that's important. I think that was a big reason why I feel I've had a good experience in this community. There's a lot of information available. I think it's a lot of free materials out there that you can get started and start um, getting up to speed on whatever it is. I think finding the area that you're most passionate about, because there's so many options across the platform. Don't try and tackle it all in one go. Find the area that seems most interesting to you. Whether if you're more of a coder, lean into some aspect of the coding. If you're more admin, go lean into that. If you're more marketing, the one challenge that all marketers will have is there's no such thing as a developer org for marketing users. So if you're new to marketing, I apologize. We have been begging for years to get developer orgs. We do not have them, so you're gonna be a little bit patient, a little while longer. But there is still a lot of material out there to empower you, and so um, I think finding, again, that kind of goes back to the community, finding people that you can learn from. There's a lot of great blogs out there. There's a lot of great communities. You have the How to SFMC. That's just one. You have the Pardashians if you're more into the Pardot side, because by the way, we have two flavors of marketing. So I mean, just finding where you need to go can be daunting, and so that's where it's important to connect with people, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because there's somebody that's out there that would be more than happy to point you in the right direction.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, maybe people have to again listen it very carefully. What he has said, he's very, very lucidly you have explained it. I like this advice, and especially when it comes to marketing cloud, right? You have Pato who has given his, MC snippet tool, which is helping a lot of people learning AMP script. Now he has even added query there where people can write a query and execute there. You have
Mhm.
Juzana who has given the platform where they can see the different resources, what is being missed in the AMP script and all. Okay, so a lot of people are, yeah, and you have a lot of blogs. Even for you, when I was going through your blog, okay, I feel like it's too much for me, if I have to go to every blog. That's why I pinged you yesterday saying, give me one of the blog. I want to go thoroughly through that.
Oh, I apologize. I misunderstood your question.
No,
I totally
no, no.
totally
I'm
missed on that.
no, no. I'm little bad or weak in English. Where I have been saying everyone that I'm very bad communicator. That I don't communicate properly. Though I make a conversation, but writing is a little difficult. I'm learning that. That's not your mistake. That's my mistake. I should have explained it properly. So uh, thank you, Chris, for taking your time and I had a lot of things still to be said, but that's okay. Maybe we'll have some another conversation there. So here is Chris Julo. Okay, he is the first. Now I'm concluding this. Chris, Chester, please don't mind. Okay, I'll conclude this is that Chris Julo was the first Salesforce MVP from Marketing Cloud, and he is now a decade long MVP. And if there has to be another, path for the Hall of Fame, you should be in the top among those. I don't know if there is any. I haven't. I don't know. Okay, if there is any other person who has decade long recognition with MVP. So, and your contribution for everywhere, from starting from 2003 to wherever I can see. Okay, your name keeps on flashing everywhere. And even one interesting thing was when I saw was like you and Gilda driving in a car, or you have that photo. I'm going to definitely stick the photo here there. So, thank you so much, and
Thank you
I'll
so
stop
much.
this recording here. Wait,